Always a pleasure speaking to this guy right here. There's so many titles you can give him. The best, I think, Explorer of the Unknown. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Belanger. Hey, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Ray?
Good. I always feel bad this time of the year. I love talking to you, but it's like this time of the year, like, oh, Jesus, we've gone a whole year, and it's October, and it's not the only time to ever talk to Jeff Belanger. We should know this right off the bat.
That's true.
You're a busy guy year-round, so I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there right now. It's not because it's October that we're talking to you. It's because you do have an event coming up.
It's pressing. It is Thursday night at the Stadium Theater in Woonsocket, just across the line there in Rhode Island.
Have you done this before? It sounds like a podcast or a 30-odd minutes, something you would do on cable or on the internet. But this is a stage show. It's a live stage show.
Ray, there's never been anything like this. We did a kind of a sample show of it back in May in Cumberland, Rhode Island, at a small theater. We sold it out, and what it is, it's an evening of true ghost stories and New England legends, told by 4 storytellers, set to the photography of Frank Grace, who's an amazing photographer. Everything he does looks so creepy, and so it's not a lecture, it's not fiction, it's not like a play. But it is true ghost stories, and you're there because there's hundreds of photographs from different places that we talk about, like the Lizzie Borden house in Fall River, like the Rose Island Lighthouse in Newport Harbor, and so many other great haunts all around New England. You're there because you see it as big as the stage. You see these photographs, and we're telling you the ghost stories as we move through each location. So there's really been nothing like this before. It's just like real ghost stories with a little theatrics.
And the stories you're telling are, based on legend, but these are also stories from firsthand accounts from you guys.
That's right. Sometimes, in some cases, we're talking about, our own experiences that we had at these places. I'll talk about my experience at the Houghton Mansion out in Western Mass in North Adams, and we talk about the red-headed hitchhiker of Route 44, and so many of these great legends. But you just haven't seen them like this, and it's really cool. It's been well received so far, but you know what? I'll tell you, Ray, I want to become the Nutcracker of October. I want this to be an annual performance where we do new stories every year, and people just get used to going to the theater and getting spooked each Halloween.
Let's get the specifics out before this interview goes any longer and people tune out. What are the specifics so that they know how to get the tickets, when it is, what time, all that?
Yeah, it's Thursday night, October 29th at the Stadium Theater, and you can only get tickets through them, through the Stadium Theater website or their box office, and they're going quick. There's 3 levels of seating, although I think the most upfront seats are all sold out, but there's still plenty of great seats left for this performance Thursday night at 7:30 p.m., and you could also get them at the door that night.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. How many people are involved?
There's 4 of us. There's myself, Carl Johnson, from the show Ghost Hunters, first couple seasons. He'll be one of the storytellers. Andrew Lake, who's just got a great voice and does a lot of stuff with Rhode Island PBS. Tim Weisberg, another radio host who hosts his own paranormal radio show. The 4 of us are telling stories, all set to Frank Grace's amazing photos.
Now, that's the calendar you gave me, right, a couple years ago?
That is, yeah. He's the one that did the calendar. And we have a new calendar this year, too.
Nice. Fantastic pictures. They are creepy. I mean, is that his thing? Or does he do other photography as well?
No, that's really his thing. He could make a McDonald's look like the scariest place on earth. He's got this amazing technique he calls trig photography. It's blending images with this fisheye lens thing that just makes everything look so scary. He's just a really talented photographer, and we're lucky to have him. And just he's so psyched to do this. And that's the other thing from his perspective. This isn't like a gallery show where you go to a gallery and look at his photographs.
Right.
I mean, the stories don't mean as much without the photos. The photos don't mean as much without the stories. It's just a great blend.
It's an assault on the senses.
It is. It's going to be spooky and awesome, and it's just a lot of fun. And these guys are just great to work with. Like I said, we did this as a practice run in May to get ready for this night here at the Stadium Theater on Thursday.
What else is going on with Jeff Belanger and Ghost Village and every other adventure you're partaking in these days?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a new episode of New England Legends that's coming out on PBS. That'll air, for those of you who get Rhode Island PBS, you can see it on Saturday at noon. You can see some episodes of New England Legends, so we're always doing that. Still working on Ghost Adventures. We're up to, I honest to God, don't know the season numbers anymore. I just know I'm on episode 140 at this point. And that's Saturday nights at 9 on the Travel Channel. I'm lecturing every single night this week and next week somewhere. I'm in Rhode Island and New Hampshire, and I'll be in Massachusetts as well, so it's just this is the busy time of year. It's like being an accountant in April, and I'm going to come in and haunt you in December because my phone's not going to be ringing at all. And I'm going to come into the studio, Ray, and I'm going to be there so long, you're going to be like, you can go now, Jeff. Just get out, please.
We'll do a whole show just with you.
Yeah.
I was wondering that. Like, come November, is it like you're sitting by the phone and just waiting for it to ring? And I mean, there's a show right there. Jeff in November.
Right. Oh, it's not pretty. It's depression, like you don't shave or bathe anymore. But I'll tell you this, though. I did get booked to do, and we could totally talk about this in December.
Okay.
I got booked to do a show called Creepy Christmas, where
Ooh.
I'll be telling creepy Christmas stories about some of the Yuletide monsters that we just don't talk about anymore, like Krampus and the Bellschnickel and things like that, these horrific creatures that are set in the Christmas season. And I think it's time to bring the scary well into Christmas. It ain't just for Halloween anymore.
I think it's a great time to do it because I think, in fact, there are 2 movies based on Krampus.
Yep. That's
and
right.
then the TV show The League deals with Krampus all the time.
He's great, and it goes back to Germanic folklore from the 1800s, and not to give too much away, but basically on December 5th, Krampus Day, this creature would come around and snatch up all the bad children.
Yeah.
So by Christmas, Santa's left with just good children, so you don't have to worry about getting coal in your stockings. The bad children have all been taken away and eaten.
And guess what? I blame Santa Claus because he's the one that made the list.
That's right. Yeah,
So
they're not enemies. Krampus is not the enemy of Santa. They're counterparts, if you will.
They're in cahoots.
They are working together and to make Christmas right. And it's we lost our way somewhere, but maybe it's coming back with these movies and talking about it. And I think the scary stuff works any time of year, but I get it that October is prime time. It's the number 2 consumer holiday now in the United States. And we can't get enough ghost stories, and neither can I. But,
for us novices, it's our favorite time of the year, but understandably so. There's 11 other months where there's haunts and happenings. Maybe not to the amateur, but I know Jay and I, Jay from Distracted Driving, have partaken in a local group, and we've done one investigation so far, and it was neat. We think we felt and heard and captured a few things. Didn't get a lot on record, but it was really exciting. We went to Uxbridge and stayed in the town hall overnight.
Nice.
For a few hours, and it was a great experience, and I have so much respect for what you guys do, shutting all the lights off, and in some cases going out alone to sit in a dark jail cell. It's not right. It takes a special person to do that.
It does. No, it does. But you know what? When you're out there, it's strange, right? You look for dead people and you feel most alive sometimes.
Yeah, you really do.
It excites the senses. You're out there and where people have had these experiences, and you put yourself into the story and into the situation, and you wonder. I mean, at this stage, I've been doing this almost 20 years. I don't expect to have a ghost experience.
Right.
But I accept that it's a possibility because once in a while something happens where you go, hey, wait a minute, I can't explain that, and that's what I live for. And so when you're out there, and all I can say is for people that say, like, oh, those shows are made up or it doesn't really happen or you're deluding yourself, go try it. Go try it. And when you hear a knock on the wall or you hear footsteps and you look and you say, wait a minute, I'm the only one on this floor. The only way to make that sound would be to walk right here, and I can see there's no one right there, and you start questioning things around you, and I think that's when you grow as a person, and that's when you say, maybe I don't have all the answers.
It's exciting.
Maybe. It is. It's great, and I'm glad you did it, and we should go again.
I would love that, yeah. Now, have you ever been tricked, and how long were you tricked where you thought something was happening? I'll tell you the story after I ask this question. How long did it last before you realized, oh, that was that? That's what happened. Because we were in 2 groups. We were upstairs, and they were downstairs, and we were on the walkie-talkies talking to each other. And then one of the guys goes, oh, hold on one sec. And then you hear nothing but screaming coming over the handset. And we hightail it downstairs to make sure everyone's okay. And it's right out of a TV show, because all the way downstairs, all we hear is screaming and screaming and screaming through the walkie-talkie. It turned out the battery was dying in the walkie-talkie, and it was just making this horrible squelching sound. But for like at least 3 minutes, we thought something horrible was happening.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You're in the dark, so your senses are already a little heightened because you're nervous. You're trying to feel your way around. You know the stories. There was one time I was in an old location. Gosh, it was for Ghost Adventures, and we were in this building, big abandoned building, and suddenly a door, and I mean like an oak door, was leaning against the wall, and it was pushed over and slammed to the ground. It sounded as loud as a grenade going off in that totally quiet building.
Wow.
Boom! We leap out of our skin. We're spinning around. We're shining flashlights everywhere. Like you're looking for a change of underwear at this point. And then this gigantic raccoon lumbers on by. And that's scary too, because those guys have rabies sometimes. So.
But there's a sense of disappointment, like, I so wanted it to be real.
Of course, yeah. You go, okay, it just got real scary, and then you see the raccoon, and you go, oh, that's what it is. But once in a while, something does happen, and you don't see a raccoon, and you say, I don't know what caused that man to walk across that hallway, and there's no one here, and then you start, you just get alive and excited and say, oh my gosh, there's something to this, and I think I just saw a ghost.
Have you ever been up to Portsmouth?
I've been to the city, but are you talking about like the lighthouse? Or?
No, the music hall in Portsmouth. I was just up there this past weekend, and it reminded me of something I did 10 or 15 years ago overnight on Halloween, and caught an EVP, which was really cool. But that's a neat city, and there's a lot of history in that city.
There is. I know the Portsmouth Lighthouse is supposed to be haunted, and I haven't been to that one yet either. But the good news, Ray, is there's something in every town.
Yeah.
And we find these stories. Slater Mill in Pawtucket, which isn't far from here, and you go to these places because you want to become part of that story. Maybe you saw it on television, maybe you read about it, or you just heard people whispering, in the community, and you go there and you wonder, am I going to have an experience tonight? And you become part of the story just by looking into it, and that's the best part of this stuff, because you're connecting with your local history, with your community, and you're reaching out in a really cool way, and then you get to talk about it. That's the cool thing about ghost stories. You take them with you.
Yeah, whether something happens or not, you can still say, I spent the night at, the Mount Washington Hotel, or Lizzie Borden's house, and that's an adventure all in itself, just doing that.
It is. It absolutely is, and that's a place I'll take you guys down there. I know the owner really well. We'll go some slow night, and we'll traipse through there and lay you down on the couch where Andrew Borden, had his last nap.
All right, really quick, let's talk about 30-odd Minutes, because it does air on Milford TV, which is local to us. And the nice thing about Milford TV now is they have an app on their phone. I don't know if you know this. You can watch it anywhere in the world, and of course you can see 30-odd Minutes anywhere as well, going to your website, Ghost Village, and find Jeff on Facebook. He's all over the place, but that's a great place to start. But you're on Milford TV as well as a whole bunch of other local community access channels. 30-odd Minutes, it's a great show.
Yeah, thanks. It's a paranormal talk show. It's been a little while since we've done a new episode because it's the busy season, but it's a video show because there's so many great paranormal audio shows out there, but a lot of this evidence is visual. So we get to talk to the people that captured it, talk to the people that are capturing these stories and these accounts all over the world, and it's been a great experience, talking to these folks, and not just looking at ghosts, but looking at everything, UFOs and monsters and aliens and conspiracy theories and time travel and all the weird stuff, because, once you go down the rabbit hole, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop halfway.
I mean, you've dealt with issues like, we think of you as the paranormal guy, but you're talking about Loch Ness and aliens and Bigfoot and Krampus now.
Yes, no, all that stuff, because at some point something becomes a legend, and Tom Brady's a legend, right? Tom Brady is he's the story of Tom Brady is bigger than the man itself.
That's true.
And that's a classic example. And we could name dozens of other musicians and athletes and artists and so on, people that you could say that the same thing about them. And so the story is this thing that becomes collective property. It belongs to all of us.
Yeah.
And that's what interests me the most. But I think truly that there's always some kind of paranormal catalyst under it. You can't just make up a story. It doesn't catch on. It doesn't spread unless something happened. And that's what intrigues me. Loch Ness Monster. Someone's seeing something in the water there.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't keep talking about it. And even though they've done underwater sonar and stuff like that, they don't find anything. But still, the story lives on. And I ask why. What are people seeing? And is it a lot more weird than anyone is comfortable with?
Do you have control of this, or are you just consumed by this? Like, I can't do anything else because I'm obsessed.
Yeah, at this point, I've thought of, every now and then I'll say, like, okay, if I had to go back and get like a regular real job, I could do it. I could do it. I could totally do it. Parts of it would be easier. But
sure.
At this point, it's definitely a compulsion to get these stories and tell them, because I think that now it's all I can say for I know you do creative stuff too. That when you get a good idea, whether it's music or art or painting, anything, right? When you get a good idea, it's you feel it in your guts, like it's a physiological feeling.
Yeah.
It's not in your brain. It's down in your stomach. And I hear stories all the time where you just go, ooh, hey, I want to go see that,
Yeah.
and then you go see it and capture it and tell the story to others, and wherever that takes you, you just let the story lead you. And at this point, I trust it, and so far it's earned me a living, and it lets me do what I love and still afford a home and, pizza once in a while and a beer in the fridge now and then, and I get to meet amazing people and do this for a living. I get it. I'm getting away with murder, and as long as I'm going to do that, then I'm going to ride this thing until I can.
Well, Jeff, you're a great storyteller. We read it in your books, we see it on TV, and now we can see it live on stage Thursday night at the Stadium Theater. Once again, give everybody the details on that.
It's at Stadium Theater is the location, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. You can go to their website, which is stadiumtheater.com. You can get tickets online. You can get tickets at the door. You can call them for tickets. There's still plenty of seats left. It's a huge venue, and it's just going to be a great spooky night, and I hope a brand new Halloween tradition Thursday night at 7:30 at the Stadium Theater in Woonsocket.
Sounds good, and happy Halloween to you, and we'll talk to you when the season's done.
Thank you, Ray.